Hello beautiful souls, Antoinette here again from Antoinette Intuitive Tarot and Jewellery. If you're watching this, please remember to give me a thumbs up so I know you like it, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell if you want to know when I load more content and you'd like to be notified as it comes through. So today's video is one that I said I would be doing as I'll slowly show you how I use my journals, and it's been prompted this morning because somebody actually messaged me and asked about them. So I thought, what better time to talk about them than right here. I was going to do this live, but I wasn't quite brave enough, so we're going to do it on the video version. And this goes in one take, by the way, so if I do stumble and mumble, I apologise. Okay, so I am UK based and I have been using Busy Days planners since 2018. I fell in love with the setup, the little discs, the fact that you could take pages out, you can move them around, and they are just so pretty the way they're set through. So you've got like tabs on everything, and then she sets your kind of goals. You have a month ahead spread in these, and then you have your weekly spread, which looks like this, and that goes through the whole month, and then at the end she gives you a page to reflect, and that's how it goes for all of them. So the month that, and then moving into May the following month. I used this in 2018. I think it was I can't actually remember, but I know I used it, and so much so that I bought the 2019 version, and then I fell out of love with it because I just felt the pressure to try and make them look pretty. I got caught up in the whole make it pretty, and I just stopped using them. So then they sat on my shelves because they are so pretty, doing not a lot for a long time until I decided I needed somewhere to do my tarot journaling. And this year I was inspired by Dawn Michelle from Boho Bloom, who does lots of different types of tarot journals. She creates and makes them, and one of the versions she's using was disc bound, so it re-inspired me to use them, and actually helped me realise just because these are dated doesn't mean they have to be used for those dates. So I can draw over them because I'm journaling, I'm creating, so I can cover over whatever I don't need in these. So all I had to do was work out what I wanted to use them for. So if we just adjust the camera a little bit, I do have tea with me, sorry to keep me move out of the way a bit so that I can swallow. So I just show you this one. It's been repurposed already. So I joined the Boho Tarot Tribe for the rune study. Sadly, I couldn't keep up because I had too many other things going on in the background. So I've made pages. So these have all been made, all these pages I've made to go in here to do that. And that's something I will go back into the group and pick up, and I'll have to study on my own probably in the background. But that one's ready for me to go. So that's one of my big loves for this diary. Before I realised that you could make pages and things, because I run out of the dates, I've removed the inserts because I could have basically just stuck over the pages, but that's not a problem. And for some reason I've kept October because I guess I like Halloween. So that's the 2018. So I'm now in the 2019, and I think I've taken some of the inserts and put them in the back of here as well to make this a really big fat chunky planner. And I did get extra sized discs to put in. So what I have here is, as I change my way that I work, my prompts are here. So this is what I do on Sundays now, my kind of like self-journaling, self-care, quiet time for me, and what I do on a daily basis. I just have little prompts because I change it up, or I was changing it up on a monthly basis till I found what suited. So going through, so starting out, I've just stuck over whatever page this was with scrap paper, and I've done a connecting with my spirit guides spread. Then a very naive, not sure what I'm doing, kind of prompt for what I want to do in 2020, what my goals are, my aims for spiritual growth, what I wanted to achieve spiritually, and my intentions for the rest of 2020. I think when I started this, it was May. So I took out, so I'd already done a year ahead spread with oracle cards, so I've put that in here and I've put what they are there, and then each month I take one of those pictures and I've stuck it into the diary. Here I have a list of decks that I was planning on working with and working my way through, but it's actually grown. These have all been acquired since I wrote my list here and thought I was doing quite well and I had enough to keep me going. Then I have my oracle decks there, which I also use. And throughout I've just stuck random things. So in the Busy Days diary, she gives you this kind of plan for a month ahead, the year ahead, a monthly thing. And I was going to put in things about, prominent things about the months, just to remind me what happens in those months. So we've got like Beltane, Summer Solstice, Mabon, haven't written in about Samhain, Yule. It's just things I want to like prompt myself with. And then I was following the new moon calendar in this section. So this tells me when they are. And what I've been trying to do is write ahead my intentions for the new moon, just to help me work out what I'm doing throughout the rest of the year. These pages are ones that I haven't used yet, so I've just put them together because I haven't got around to using them. So they're just notes from old, really, so I haven't stuck over them. Right, moving through. So here we have when I started. Started out in May. It was all about Beltane, May Day, so I've written some information about that here. I found a very nice little spread that I've stuck in that I wanted to use. And at this point I was figuring out how I'm using the diary. So I've been using, Tipp-Exing out words, tracing over with what I want. So I was doing decks for May, so here's what I want to use, why I want to use them, and I never got around to reflecting on how I felt about using them. In each of these, I haven't written what I felt about them. There's my month from my calendar spread. And just choosing like what I was using. So I had a deck for daily pulls, I had a deck for my weekly draws or waterfall draws, and I was using Self-Care Sunday, a different deck again for Self-Care Sunday, and then I had oracles just to kind of reaffirm some of those informations. And anything else I did just kind of got randomly stuck in this as I got going. So I started to use this just by tracking moon phases because I wasn't sure what else I was using it for. And then the only other thing to mention is that the dates obviously are wrong, so I've started drawing over. So that was 2019, now 2020. All of these, I've coloured the original days of the week out, and I've just drawn in the right ones to match. So Friday was the first. I don't know what it would have been before that. Maybe a Wednesday last year. Might have been Wednesday. So I've now written over with the correct dates so that I know that they match the correspondence there. And the same here. So I've just handwritten in the dates over the top. And I'm perfectly okay with that. It doesn't bother me because the pages are so nice. So this is just me starting, getting spreads in. So that's my Beltane spread. And then starting to work with the diary a bit more. So in May I was just doing lots of spreads, getting used to spreads, I think. Not really sure how I wanted to use the diary still. So there's a couple of pages where I'm just doing that, and then this is me starting an actual go, and it's very busy. So I was doing daily card pulls, and I was actually taking pictures, and I've reduced them down and then printed them out. And I did these en masse, so I do the entire week and then I print them out to save paper and ink. And then I'd have to come back and stick them all in as part of my Sunday self-care. So I was doing a weekly waterfall spread where I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'd add them all together to see what the combinations kind of came up with. I was fitting in my self-care Sunday, that's here, look, the card from my Oracle energy for the week. So this really was very busy. Same here, I've done exactly the same thing. That's my waterfall spread. You can actually see there that I've printed them off as a block. Rather than cutting them up, I've just left them as they are. Things to do on my self-care Sunday, I think that's when I've made my first lot of rose water. And then I've got, my daily pulls in here as well. And so we went through May. Then moving into June, I found a challenge to do. So I've stuck challenge in here with the prompts and a different type of weekly spread that I wanted to use. I also found other spreads which I've stuck in here. So I've got the new moon spread, full moon spread. I think that is just that. And as you can see, that's that one under there. So I've stuck the cards in, but I haven't written about them. So there's and that's okay, it's just stayed like that. I also started doing, as I said, I was doing spreads. So here we have quite a few spreads for full moon. So I've got Sagittarius full moon, I've got a general full moon spread, which I actually quite like. And I've made my own insert And on the back I write about, what I did. And the inserts actually, these are made from cards, old cards, card stock. So, oops, sorry. So this one's definitely, you can see that that's a birthday card of some description. And I just got, a number of spreads in here just to help me read. And I was just piecing things together. So, did I change? I can't remember if I changed here at this point. Let's have a look. So here we've got my weekly, my daily, something for me to be mindful of, and new moon spreads. So I decided that for the moons I was going to use the dark mansion, basically. So I decided I was going to use a different deck for the moons. And there's my monthly. And here we are. So I started tracking my daily cards. So here's my key for my daily cards. And I started putting that in here along with the moons. And then there's my first new type of weekly spread. And then the correspondence is here. And then I've got my daily pulls here. And my oracle cards there. And it's kind of less busy. I think I was able to work with this a lot better. And I kept this, I think, for June. This is how I worked. And I would add a saying or something if I had one, or if I thought of anything or found anything inspiring, I'd just write it in there. And I'll do, doodling and things. But because the pages were quite nice, there's not a lot I needed to do to make it pretty. So you see I didn't put the card in there. Sometimes 2 cards fell out, so I'd just stick them in as I could. Self-Care Sunday, so I got 1, 2, only did 2 weeks worth. And then here we have my full moon spread. So now I've moved on to changing up how I do it. So here I put the full moon spread on the actual insert, and then I write what I took from it there. And then on the back I do the new moon spreads. So I have my full moon, new moon on the actual inserts. And we've gone to the weekly deck. So I started working with one deck for weekly draw and daily draw. And then I'd have my oracle decks. Then I'd do some Sunday activity, my journal set up for the month to keep me reminded. And then here you can see I've just got some of the cards that I wanted to know about, like my birth cards and personality cards. And then that's how it kind of goes through for here. So there we go. So that's my tracking of my cards, the moons, some sayings, memories from 2019 that I didn't want to stick over, actually, I decided to keep. And I have my weekly cards here, my weekly oracle message, and I've changed my weekly draw. So I do 7 cards and a significator now, and here's how I draw it out. I draw a grid, I put it in, and I write about it. And then what I can do, so I've got different coloured text. So the different coloured text, the blue in this case, is me coming back and reflecting on what I had seen ahead. So when I got to Saturday and it had ended, or and I looked back a couple of days later, I would see what I'd written in as my week ahead and decide whether or not anything else had happened, so that I can link better with that card. So that's what I started doing. And I made a extreme self-care page, and it's just scrap paper, that one. Nothing fancy. And here we go. So we've now got my oracle cards have moved on to their own page, so I can put a bit more message. I can put my thoughts and thoughts from the book, basically, to kind of pull them all together. And then I have my weekly draws, and I have now stopped doing, there you go, so I've stopped pulling out or printing out the cards because I felt that I don't need them at this point. I've got what I need in here, and I can reflect on what I'm seeing. And I've got a bit of collaging in this one, same thing. There we go, so I've got my new moon intentions that I've written into here. Dare to dream, write it down, make it real. So that was me daring to dream about my future and how to get there. My self-care Sunday. I only did 1 there. So learning to embrace things. And then I've changed again. So here we go into August. My full moon spread. So I've been using some of the ones from Ethany, from the Ethany Tarot School Academy. And she very kindly puts out some free ones. And they're brilliant because they've just got different questions, different prompts. And she works with the solar energy as well and the lunar energy. So there we go, here's how the cards go, and I'm drawing it myself now, rather than actually printing and sticking things out. And then I'm just jotting down my cards on the bottom, and the same here for the new moon in Leo in August. So there's how the spread goes, and there's what I got, and here actually is and there it is, my answers to the questions in the spread. And then it pretty much follows the same pattern now. So you can see quite clearly I'm tracking my cards. I've got the moon's phases and what they mean. I've got my oracle cards. This one I actually quite enjoyed doing because I've got all sorts in here, washi tape. I'm not sure what that stuff is actually. I can't remember what it's called, but it comes in little bottles and it's raised. I just cannot remember what it's called. And I just put some colouring pens and some gold stickers and things in. I have made the rose spread from the 8 Coins Tattoo deck. Made a page for that. I got my weeklies, and then, you know, whatever I want to put down here, to-dos, releases, intentions, and my oracle cards. And you can see I've left space because I was planning on putting the cards in here, but I haven't. I didn't get there. And again here, so I've basically moved away from printing cards out altogether now because it's just so much easier. And I've started collaging or using stamps or washi tape or things a lot more. So here's like a real indulgent. I spent a lot of time with this one cutting out cards that I had left over, old birthday cards. It's all one card actually. And then, you know, just creating some text and some stickers and adding, you know, words to keep me going. And the same with this one. In fact, this one's a little bit less because I spent more time doodling. I didn't do any self-care spreads that month. September, so the full moon, the new moon, cards that I'm using, again my spread, and there you go. So just more stickers and ephemera, and you know, words that I see as I feel that I needed to. This month I used a really cheeky deck. I used the Rebel deck, which gives some really rude messages. So it's like my backup card to the main oracle. It just gives a really rude message. So there's lots of swearing in that deck. And I was just getting into making things pretty and using all my stickers up. And that's kind of how it's going. I enjoyed this type of layout so much more that I would find that I'd sit down and I'd do more weeks ahead. It's like really easy to get ahead and do more weeks. There's my self-care Sunday. Again, I only did 2 in the month, so I'm not worried about that. So October, full moon. There's my new moon. We'll see if I ever get around to actually putting it in properly. I can't even remember where the spread is. I don't even know if I took a copy of it. And then these were the decks I was umming and ahhing over, but I'm stuck with a deviant moon. There's another page for a spread, 30-day outlook. And for those wondering, this is my key. So this is my key card that I take in and out because it's disc bound. So all these pages I make, I have the busy days hole punch. So you just punched up and then you can simply pop them in where you want them. And that's what I do. And then on the back I've just put the moon magic, moon like phases and what they kind of mean in correspondences. So I can just move that through months rather than writing it all the time. And this month in this planner is very pink, so I've kind of gone with more pinky touches and flourishes as I've gone through, but I want to kind of darken it up a bit moving for the rest of the month because I'm working with shadow oracles and my deviant moon deck, which I just love. It's my first ever deck, and I need to do a flip through of that one actually. But so as you can see, so just like my same key goes in here, and I've had lots of reflections that week, so I had a bit more time to myself. And then, you know, you can like jot things down underneath, put pretty pictures over the top. This is a card, this is all from a birthday card I think, that I just cut out, and some doodling. And there we are, I think that brings us up to present day. So as you can see, it is really very pink. On my self-care Sunday. We move into November. So as you see, I've put them all in ready and waiting. And my diary started in January. So this is old stuff, so I'll probably stick right over all. So I've already filled it in with old stuff. And there's my January. So there we are. That was a really long, rambly video. I'm very sorry for those who've managed to make it to the end. Well done. Let me know how you journal. Like, what do you do? How do you store yours? What type of spreads do you do? Do you change them up? Because trying to find spreads that work, part of this is for me to see how the outcomes are for you know, looking ahead. But obviously if you look too far ahead, it's difficult for things to emerge because circumstances change, and that's something that we all know about. So once you change the wheel and the direction it's going in, it changes the outcome. So that's why I do a week ahead, and I'm just curious to see what's going on. Let me know what you do. It'd be really interesting to see in comments. And even if you found this helpful, do you use these types of planners? If you're in America, I understand it's the, not busy days, happy days planners that are available, which you can probably do a very similar thing with. So yeah, take care, beautiful beings, and I will see you again in another video. Bye bye.